So I'm pretty excited about today's project, and I hope that you'll love it too. We're going to be making a heart-shaped charcuterie board with supplies from the Dollar Tree and Hobby Lobby. Perfect for a Valentine's Day meal with your special someone, or really anytime, just because hearts are cute. I mean, really, who doesn't like hearts? Today, I've dressed this particular board for a romantic breakfast, but the skies are the limit to what you can serve once you learn to make this inexpensive, super cute, heart-shaped charcuterie board. Grab your supplies and let's get started. So the first thing we're going to need is this wooden heart from Dollar Tree, and I've seen these in a number of different stores, so as of the time of taping, these are widely available. And I really like these hearts because, number one, their size. They are a lot larger than the other heart-shaped decor that they have at Dollar Tree, and they are wooden. The biggest challenge is these holes here. I thought about it, and what I came up with to deal with the holes was to make a handle. And I had a wooden dowel that I had purchased from Hobby Lobby that was 99 cents. So I had my husband to cut the pieces for me, 7.5-inch long piece and 2 3/4-inch pieces. And what we're gonna do is glue all of those pieces together in order to make a handle. So the first thing we need to do is sand all these pieces because, as you can see, the edges are pretty rough. He had to cut the pieces with his miter saw, so it was very jagged and very rough. But the more prep work you do on this end, the easier it's going to be to glue it all together in the end. Because if you don't have a flat bottom, a flat surface to glue to our heart shape, then it's just going to make everything really wonky and the pieces are not going to fit together properly. So you really want to take your time here. Just clean up the sides, the edges, the bottom. Really just try to get rid of those splintered pieces. We do not want all those splintery pieces, and I've gotten it pretty nice right here. So this is what you're looking for. You're looking for that flat surface and you're looking for it to be clean and smooth. So next we're going to do that to our other 3/4-inch piece, and then we are going to sand our 7.5-inch long piece as well. And again, take your time. We want to get this very smooth, and we also, want to clean it up. This was a dowel that I bought a while ago, so I just wanted to make sure that it was really clean and really nice and that I had a good smooth surface to work with here. And as you'll see, I'm going around the edge really carefully to get rid of all those splintery pieces. Next, we are going to sand the actual heart itself. I'm using a pretty fine grit of sandpaper because it doesn't need much. It's very thin to begin with, and it was already sanded pretty nicely, but I'm doing this in part just to clean the surface and to prepare it for accepting our finish. So after we've sanded it, you want to wipe it down with a paper towel and get rid of all that dust. So our next step is that we are going to glue on our handle. Now technically we really should glue the handle pieces together and let those set and then paint those separately and then attach it to our charcuterie board. However, I really did not want to do that because with the E6000, you really need to let it set for like 24 hours overnight type of thing to get a really nice tight bond. And I would have had to have done that with the handle and then also with attaching the handle to the board. So I did take a little shortcut here. I was very impatient, okay? I'm sorry. You should do it the proper way though. To ensure the best looking charcuterie board possible, you should attach all the handle pieces and let that set overnight and then spray paint that and then attach it to the charcuterie board. And then you will have a perfect A++ charcuterie board. I, however, do not have that. And here you're gonna see me cleaning up some of the E6000 to the extent that I can. And then I'm getting ready to glue the top of my handle to the base pieces. You have to be really careful because even though E6000 forms a strong bond over time, when you initially use it, it does not really hold the pieces together as well as you might think that it would. So you have to be very careful to keep everything in place just how you want it. So that's why you will see me here very carefully setting the top of my handle down on the base pieces. And I'm also just making sure that I'm setting down the top piece exactly where I want it to be so that everything is equal on both sides of the handle. And I'm being very ginger and very carefully placing all of the pieces of the handle where I want them to be. So again, this is one of those moments where you want to take your time. At this point, we're going to set our charcuterie board aside and let it dry. You're going to have some time to kill, so while you're killing time, you might as well like, share, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notifications button. So we've let this sit overnight and the pieces are bonded, but I would not put any real force or any real pressure on this handle. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to paint our handle. And because I took a shortcut in the last part, it's going to be a little bit more complicated in this step. So I'm going to wrap up my heart with this plastic bag. It's just a random plastic shopping bag. And I'm just going to try to cover up the surface of my heart as best as possible. I'm protecting my heart. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to wrap up the heart and then I'm going to go in with a little bit of tape and sort of tape those little loose pieces of the bag together so that hopefully none of the spray paint will get in there and paint my actual board. And it worked pretty well. I really should have tried the A+ method and painted the handle separately like a good student, but I chose not to. And the price I pay for that is having a less than perfect charcuterie board. But hey, if anybody is going to criticize me for it, then they don't need to be eating off of my beautiful heart-shaped charcuterie board. So we're almost there. We have one more major step to complete our charcuterie board, and that is to oil the surface of the board itself. Now I'm using mineral oil, and this is a food safe mineral oil that you can pick up at a pharmacy or like a super center, anywhere like that. So I'm just pouring on the mineral oil, and I wanted to be very liberal with this because I wanted to make sure that I formed a really good protective layer between the wood and the food. So I poured on the oil. I poured it on a couple times and just rubbed it in and just tried to, sort of push it in as best I could as I rubbed. I don't know if that really helped or not, but that's what I did. And I decided to do it on both sides just for extra protection to the wood. So I rubbed it in on the back side, and then I even decided to rub it in on the sides just to make sure that the sides of the board are protected as well. Then I wiped off the excess oil with a paper towel and let the board sit for a while before using it. Let there be charcuterie. Lovely, lovely charcuterie.